What do you do when you're so angry you just want to spit or something else? Hello, my name is Marty Mollengrath, minister at St. Andrew's Presbyterian Church in Kitchener, Ontario. And once again, thank you for joining us just for a few moments of worship and celebration as we look at some of the difficult situations that we encounter in life. In this time of reflection and in this time of worship, I want to begin with words from Ruth Burgess in a little book that I've shared with you before, 50 Great Prayers from the Iona Community. And Ruth Burgess says this: "Today, may I give and receive love. Today, may I work for justice. Today, may I listen and play. Today, may I sing God's praises. Today, may I delight in God's beauty. Today and every day." Now, if you're like me, there are times that it will be very difficult to do that. If you're like me, there are times when you get so frustrated, so angry, so upset that you want to take little prayers like that and toss them out. Maybe today is one of those days for you. If so, just join with us. Just hang in there for a few moments as we talk about what you want to do when you are so angry you could spit. I suppose we've all been there, so angry that it just vibrates inside of you. If you're fortunate, it lasts only for a moment and slowly dissipates. But sometimes the anger lingers and it's hard to deal with. Those are the times that you can scare yourself and scare others. What do you do when you are so angry that you become concerned? I remember as a teenager working in a roof truss shop. Trusses are those prefabricated wooden structures that are used in the making of roofs for houses. My dad had the contract to build the roofing trusses for a local lumber company, and I spent many hours in my teenage years making trusses along with my dad and my older brother. And they sometimes fought. They didn't really see eye to eye. My dad was hard on my brother, and my brother didn't always know how to take it. And one day they were yelling at each other, and then suddenly they both picked up a piece of lumber, and it looked to me like they were going to go at it. It was absolutely terrifying to watch. My dad dropped his piece of lumber first. His shoulders slumped and he walked away. And I remember thinking, anger. What a useless emotion. It causes nothing but pain. I am never going to get angry. Of course I did. Get angry, that is. I just buried it deeper and deeper inside. And that's the problem with many of us. Too many of us bury our anger deep inside, and then it becomes almost uncontrollable, and we get ourselves into trouble. What do you do when you are so angry you want to spit or something worse? The first thing to understand is that anger is not a primary emotion. It always comes as a result of another emotion: hurt, fear, disappointment, loss, grief. These are all primary emotions, and when they're not dealt with effectively, anger takes root. The second thing to know is that anger needs expression. It needs a means to be released. We have to learn to let go of our anger, as hard as it may be. The good news is that we have each other. We have God, and we have things that we can do. One of them is to read the Psalms, like Psalm 137. It's a terrifying psalm of anger, deep anger, that comes from indescribable pain. By the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down, and there we wept when we remembered Zion. On the willow, there we hung our harps. For there our captives asked us for songs, and our tormentors asked us for mirth, saying, "Sing to us one of the songs of Zion." The people of Israel had had their land conquered and razed. There was very little left. And to add insult to injury, they were taken away from their own land and separated. They were put into exile so that they could not connect with each other to any great extent. In today's language, we would say that they were suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. And the psalm begins with an expression of indescribable grief and ends with an anger that is terrifying. O daughter of Babylon, you devastator, happy shall they be who pay you back for what you have done to us. Happy shall they be who take your little ones and dash them against the rock. It's brutal imagery. It curdles the blood. To be frank, it terrifies us. And we wonder, how in the world could something like that show up in the Bible? Well, words of anger and revenge are in the Bible. And in this context, they are in a prayer to God, a prayer expressing the deep pain of the people. Walter Brueggemann, a very well-known Old Testament scholar, is very helpful here. He says, first, these words are cathartic. They have incredible therapeutic value that can't be underestimated. They help us to let go. Second, words themselves follow feelings, not the other way around. We know how deep our feelings are when the words show us. And if we're afraid of those words, we're afraid of the feelings. And the third, it's not words that destroy. Words are not as dangerous as we may have thought. It's when that they are unspoken that they loom large. When they are spoken, we can manage them more effectively. And the fourth, he says, it's crucial to understand that these words are not directed at the enemy. They're directed at God. It is to God that the people pour out their anger, their rage, their hurt, and their suffering. And as such, they provide incredible relief and release. We may not be able to solve the problems. We may not be able to release all of our anger and hurt. It takes time. But if we constantly strive to turn it over to God, to give it to God, to let it go and let God have it, then we can find some release. What do you do when you're so angry you want to spit or something else? Read the Psalms. Yell and scream and cry out to God. Articulate what you're feeling. Discover the depths of those feelings. Feel the release that may slowly come and give it to God. At least that's what the psalmist would tell you to do. And in my experience, they're very wise. Thanks be to God. Amen. Invite you to just listen to this piece of music created by the people at St. Andrew's. And my prayer is that you will have a peace-filled day. Thanks be to God.